Hey guys, it's Alec Torelli. Welcome back to the Hand of the Day. Today's question comes from Mr. Futikov, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong and if I don't have your first name, but this is all you sent me in the email. So, he goes on to say, I work a 9 to 5 job 5 days a week. He tries to play as much poker as he can and after work and produce good results, but he finds himself playing less hours for two reasons: fatigue and motivation. So he squeezed in two questions, but I'm going to address them both. It's your lucky day. He dreams of being able to quit his job. He wants to quit his job and play full time, which one could argue is motivation. You could use as motivation. He goes on to say he's really healthy. He says he quit coffee and sugar, as I suggested in my other video, and he doesn't consume any dairy, drinks 2 liters of water a day, sleeps 8 hours a night. The only thing possibly lacking, he goes on to say, is exercise. And basically, will the exercise help if I exercise 3 days a week? And how can I increase the amount of motivation in my life and reduce the amount of fatigue? So, here we go. First of all, bravo. You did a good job with the diet. Thank you for following the suggestions. And I'm sorry they haven't helped as much, but I'm going to elaborate a bit on that first. I will say you may also have foods in your current diet that are causing you to feel fatigue. Other intolerances to foods aside from dairy and sugar. Gluten is a huge one. While it's true that only 1% of the population may be celiac, depending on the study, 15 to 20% of the people cannot digest gluten. Not quite as high as dairy, which some studies argue is up to 75%, but it is still a large part of the people that have intolerances to gluten and secondary grains, all grains, even corn, rice, and all other forms of non-gluten grains. So that might be something you want to look into, do your research on, and consider as well. That's another huge one. But other foods may be the problem, other than gluten. Okay, I don't want to just say give up gluten, you're going to feel better. Even though I think everyone should give up gluten for health reasons, it's bad for you. But while it can be a little overwhelming and preemptive to do like an elimination diet, which is what people recommend to isolate what food might cause you problems. You restrict your diet down to a very small amount of healthy, I don't mean healthy, I mean commonly accepted foods for everyone's body, usually consisting of rice, a few vegetables, and fruit. And then reintroducing foods slowly, one by one, introducing food groups broadly and then foods within that food group, after 2 weeks to see what food could be causing you problems. For example, I just talked to someone who feels a headache when they have watermelons after doing this diet. It's just something that happens. But while that may be a little preemptive, and it is a little overwhelming to think about doing that, it's a big commitment. What I would recommend as something that is much more manageable is doing a 7-day juice fast. And you are doing a mini elimination diet. But the purpose of this is to expand on the idea that foods may be the problem. They might be the culprit, okay? And if you do this and after 7 days you feel great, you feel really, really good, you have a ton of energy, and you're feeling light all the time, you're not like bloated and whatever, then chances are that it could be a food problem, and you may want to look into doing an elimination diet. You may want to revisit food, do your research, find out more information about that. But the first, I will say about the juice diet, I have a post on this. It's called How to Look Good and Always Feel Amazing. Definitely check it out. A ton of FAQ, ton of all my experience about doing a juice fast is there. If you have any more questions, please leave me a comment and I will respond. But everything you need to start on your own should be there. I will say the first couple days, depending on, you say you don't need any sugar, which is good, but depending on your diet, how much grains are in there, sugar comes in a lot of forms. If you're having a lot of glucose from pasta, breads, rice, whatever, that hits your liver, it spikes your insulin, you're going to feel that withdrawal from that immediate energy spike, okay? So the first couple days are going to suck, but stick with it. Give it 7, okay? And trust me, I felt the best I ever felt in my life, and I think you will too. So that's what I will say about the diet side, and to take your nutrition a step further and go with that. Let me know how it is. I really am curious to know if any of you tried this, especially who I'm giving advice to. Please leave me a comment after you do and let me know, or if you need any help through the process. Second, exercise. You mentioned that. Really cool quote from Richard Branson. He said, they asked him, what is the one thing you would recommend to someone to do to be successful? And he said, exercise. And I really believe that to be true. I really believe that having health as a foundation of your life, having activity and, you know, that mental sort of stimulation that you get from exercise, that endorphin release, humans are meant to, like as the book says, we literally are born to run. We are meant to be active. That is huge in terms of increasing your productivity. They basically, what Richard Branson was getting at, and I wholeheartedly agree. So yes, it will dramatically increase your motivation and decrease your fatigue doing exercise. That's probably the biggest thing I will say to do. If you pick one thing, it would be do that. People think you have to be some bodybuilder and go to the gym an hour and a half every day to reap the benefits of exercise, look good, and feel the health benefits, look good, and feel the mental, emotional benefits of exercise. It's really not true. Okay, if you are efficient, if you apply an 80-20 principle to exercise, you will reap 90%, 80% of the benefits with very minimal work. So here's what I suggest. Here's my minimalist plan to exercise, and I do this a lot because I do travel the world quite often, and it's really hard to find gyms and exercise. Sometimes you don't have gyms. So here's what I recommend. Try and do 4 days a week. 3 days will suffice. Really try and do 4 though, and do 30 to 40 minutes. And you want to do interval training. Okay, so you want to just focus on cardio, especially if you don't have a lot of time to do weights. Focus on cardio to release all the endorphins. It's good for your heart, and it will give you the energy you need. And you really want to do interval training. So go on a treadmill, for example, and if you're doing miles per hour, do 4 miles per hour, and slowly increase the incline to 10 over 3 minutes. Once the incline's at 10, do 4.5 miles per hour, then go down to 3 miles per hour, and do 1 minute on, 1 minute off. Okay, you're doing it correctly if by 10 minutes you are sweating. If you are not sweating after 10 minutes, I mean sweating, like wiping stuff off your skin, you are not working hard enough. Okay, you have 30 minutes, you need to bust your ass. All right, you do that 1 minute on, 1 minute off. After your 3 minute warm up, 1 minute on, 1 minute off. You do that until like 27 minutes, and then cool down. Okay, or 35 minutes and cool down for 5 minutes. Stretch, 5 minutes, boom, you're done. You're in and out of there. You could also apply this on the bike or the elliptical, but with the elliptical, I have to be cautioned. People use the elliptical as an excuse, and it's really hard. You really have to push yourself to get yourself sweating and moving on the elliptical. So I would say treadmill first, bike second, elliptical third. Also, you could even just walk in the morning. Just walking on an empty stomach before you eat is huge for fat burning and also for starting your day actively and giving you energy. If you want to take this a step further, you don't want to do the incline, maybe it hurts your knees, do a sprint walk. Okay, so jog for 5 minutes, warm up, and then sprint for a minute, walk for a minute, sprint for a minute, walk for a minute, and increase the speed as far as you can. Again, the measurement, 10 minutes. Are you sweating? If not, start over, do it harder. That's it, man. That's really the minimalist approach to working out, and put this in an effort. Let me know how it goes, and I'm really confident you're going to feel significant improvement, okay? Third, let's go to motivation. So what I find really motivating for me, this is my personal truth, but I've had it worked with a lot of my students and people that come to me about this, is to set goals that inspire you. All right, so think about what you want in your life with your poker and work backwards from there. And make these goals something realistic but worth striving for. For example, if I make a goal to go to this, let's say I live in LA and I'm like, oh, I really want to go to Santa Barbara. Sure, it's exciting, but it's not like a goal that's really going to make me make sacrifices or drive me to, attain new heights. But if I'm sitting there in LA and I'm like, you know what, I've always wanted to go to Italy. Okay, now I'm going to bust my ass to do something because that's really inspiring to me. And going to a different country, there's new culture, there's all these things that are new and exciting and different. And so that's really something that's worth doing. Okay, that's going to bring you motivation. So set your goal something that is inspiring to you. Don't hold back and don't make it a goal that you think you should do or you feel like you should do or peer pressure to do. Do what you want to do. Okay, do something that you've always dreamed about doing. Maybe something you're afraid of doing. Start there. Usually a good place to start. It means it's what you need to do. And then work things out. Okay, write things out. Don't work things out. We talked about working out. We're done with that. Okay, write things out so they are concrete. For example, I want to go to Italy and taste wine in Tuscany. Okay, then staple to your wall or to your computer a picture of what you want to do, because you're going to go look up, you're going to spend time looking up the winery in Tuscany that you want to go to, that badass winery where you're going to have some amazing wine. And that's going to be inspiring to you. And you're going to remember why I'm doing everything I'm doing, because that picture of the winery, of the dream, is right there on the wall, right? So now you have something you're doing. Now you have something that you're like, shit, I want to get out of bed every day because I'm going to the winery. I'm going to go and taste wine, right? There you go. So now you have something that you're doing that's really, you're connected with, you have a purpose, and that is driving. To me, that's exciting. And I'm using the example of the winery in Italy because I like traveling and tasting wine in Italy. But, you know, whatever it is for you, you're going to go rock climbing in El Capitan. Cool, do it, right on. Number 3 is set yourself up for success. And what I mean by that is you are going to write out daily a list of stuff you have to do in order to, you know, your to-do list for the day, right? But organize it in a way that is like a domino effect. You want to start your day, you want to start that process with the easiest thing to do. And the idea here is to have positive reinforcement. Especially if you aren't motivated, chances are you're finding that you're tackling something too big and it's a little daunting and overwhelming because you're like, shit, I got to do this huge project or this huge thing. And it's so overwhelming that you don't even start or you quit preemptively. So start your day with a really easy task to do, okay? Studies have shown, this is actually kind of ridiculous. Studies have shown that when you cross things off your to-do list, you have a feeling of accomplishment, right? You're accomplishing something. You wrote something down you needed to do, and you crossed it off, so you did it. It is a chemical dopamine release in your brain that gives you a feeling of euphoria because you did something, you accomplished something. That makes you feel good, okay? That's like a primal human instinct, that's happened for us to get stuff done, okay? So set yourself up and use that knowledge to your advantage. I start my day off with like extreme simple shit, and I will write down 3 things on my to-do list that are like ridiculous to do, but I know I'm going to do them. For example, I want to get up and take a walk in the morning, and then I want to make breakfast, and then I want to send an email, like a really easy email, like respond to someone that left me a nice comment. I'm going to say, hey, something I want to do because I know I'm going to do all those 3 things. Boom, check, check, check. Now I got the ball rolling. I got the to-do list going, and the rest of my stuff, it just continues in that flow of energy throughout the day. And you work towards the bigger things, saving time for them. Obviously, don't put them off till 7 p.m. at night, but you do those 3 things, and now you're plugging along, okay? That's a huge one. I've noticed that's like worked wonders for me and people I've recommended it to. Last thing for motivation is surround yourself with positive, ambitious is the word I'm looking for, people. If your social circle is people that are just hanging out, smoking weed all day, not really doing much, chances are you're going to kind of feed off whatever energy that is. If it's a good energy or a positive energy or negative energy, there's no judgment there. It's just an energy, okay? And if that energy is not what you need right now, doesn't mean that energy is wrong or there's not a time and place for another type of energy. But what you need right now might be a energy that is uplifting, is motivating, is inspiring. So you might need to be around someone that's like, maybe watch a TED Talk. You know, you want to be around people that are talking about things and doing things and acting in ways that are ambitious and driven and excited. They're starting their own companies. They're going out and hitting it. They're grinding. They're looking for ways to hustle, make money, and achieve their dreams, whatever it is. Maybe you join a kick-ass gym with a cool trainer and he motivates you. You know, he's kind of up and hustling too. You want to be around those people. So find the people in your social circle that exhibit those qualities, and if you haven't already, and surround yourself with that energy because you are going to feed off that and you are ultimately the people you hang out with. So surround yourself with them and you will notice a kick in your motivation. All right, Mr. Futakov, I have answered, I have acted. I have answered and I have acted. And now it's your turn. Peace, guys.